I think I work the best in the morning. If I could explain this, it's not that I'm fresh and I have more energy. It's the fact that with every day that I experience, as I'm progressing through the day, I'm gathering, acquiring more and more, whatever that is, happiness, stress, credit card bills, some problem with hot water, traffic, and so on. And this good and bad bag of emotions and events needs to be sorted out and kind of recycled, and I think that happens while I sleep. Sometimes I reflect upon what I experienced in one day before I go to bed. I take half an hour to just think about what I just did and what I've seen and who I talked to and what I experienced. And I think through sleep, all these issues and problems and images are going to be sorted out somehow. And when I wake up in the morning, I can just focus on the music. And if I can get 2 or 3 hours of work, I will be very happy. I don't get tired at all. This is the best and the happiest and the most fulfilling thing I can do. I could sit here and write for 8 hours and I would not be tired. I have tricks, so to speak. I have developed over the years some very personal ways of writing the notes. For example, I know that after a quarter I would like to write an 8th note, and another voice might do a different rhythm, and I try to have a triplet and some kind of a syncopations there to avoid very clear, in-your-face statements. I think I like subtlety, and I like to ask questions with my music, and I like to be ambiguous. And ambiguity comes by avoiding a pulse rhythmically, you know. If you play like this, there's really no way you can tell what is the time signature unless you're looking at the conductor who's going to try to keep everybody together. Okay, this could be this could potentially become a very difficult and tricky topic to discuss. I think that Anglo-Saxons are pragmatic, and clarity is a very important part of this culture. And Romanians are not. They're not really that pragmatic, and I'm generalizing, of course. And being able to seek the beauty in non-pragmatic ways is a feature of Romanian culture, I think. I think it goes back to the folk music. Of course, there are fast and clear dances, but even those clear dances have odd meters, or there is a certain amount of improvisation there. And it goes back centuries. I mean, Western music has been notated very clearly and measured and conducted and printed out and transmitted very clearly for centuries now. And Romania is a little bit on the border. You know, half of Romania is very westernized. Transylvania was reporting to Vienna for many centuries, right? And there are Saxon settlements going back to the 13th, 14th century, even before. But there is also a side of Romanian culture that is more about dreaming and reflecting and not building one thing upon the other. That is a feature of Western civilization. We discover something and then we build something on top of it, and this is how progress happens. And the Western civilization ends somewhere in Central Eastern Europe. You know, yes, it spreads all the way, but it ends. And that is the border where I think clarity ends for me. But it's a very personal statement. I don't think I can back up everything that I say because I'm generalizing now. So coming from that culture, and I think because of my own personality, I try to avoid clarity. School ended about a week ago, and I have a lot of it in my mind, but I only have about 43 measures, which is, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of music. I know where it's going to go next, and I have a rough idea of how the piece is going to be. It's like our lives. You know, I think we kind of know what's going to happen to a certain extent. I can see myself being old, you know, and I think I might have some kind of a remote control in my hand. I don't know what that remote control will do. It's probably going to be some kind of a combination of a Bluetooth TV heater kind of a thing. But what I'm trying to say is that we can predict to a certain extent what will happen, and then our duty is to kind of fill in the blanks with every step that we make. So I can see the piece, and I can see the next 20 measures more clearly. At the same time, I can feel how the entire piece will be. There are always accidents, there are always unfortunate or fortunate events. But generally, I have a foggy idea of how the piece will be and quite a clear image of the next 3 minutes or so. Yeah. It has to do with experience, I think. 20 years ago, I didn't really know very precisely how the next few measures would look like. But now, as I said, I developed some kind of a footprint or signature, and I know once I write a quarter note, that quarter note is screaming for something else. It's like the notes are becoming alive as they are written on the page, and they say, give me an E flat, I need an E flat. You know, they tell you what the next note is, and then you move to the next note, and the E flat says, I have to go to a D, I have to go to a D. And it's like a game. You set some rules in motion, and all you have to do is write the notes. That's why I like it. I could never get tired. You know, once I get started and I write an F sharp, that has to lead to another note, and time goes by so nicely. All I have to do is listen to the notes. You know, where do you want to go? You know, and they will tell me.